Thank you for the introduction. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. So today I'll be talking about dietary pattern in colorectal cancer prevention from pork to pie. So we have known that colorectal cancer or CRC represents a substantial global health challenge, consistently ranking on the third most commonly diagnosed cancer worldwide and the second leading cause of cancer-related mortality. In 2020 alone, global estimates So in 2020 alone, global estimates indicated over 1.9 million new CRC cases and more than 930 deaths attributable to the disease. So the scale of the problem of CRC in Malaysia is a growing national health concern. So the landscape of CRC in Malaysia mirrors the global shift, presenting a critical public health concern. So in Malaysia, CRC incidence and mortality rates are observed to be higher in men compared to women, and ethnic variants are also evident with the Chinese population exhibiting the highest ASR rate, followed by Malays and Indians. So although mortality rates in northern Malaysia have shown a positive trend, decreasing from 12.73 per 100,000 population in 2008 to 2.99 per 100,000 population in 2017, the overall incidence rate have remained relatively constant. So I'm going to synthesize the Asian evidence on dietary patterns. So what does this research across the Asia tells us about diet and CRC? So this is a published article by my team. It's a scoping review involving 35 articles, including 28 case control study and 6 prospective cohort study and 1 RCTs. And it includes published papers between 2009 to 2021. And the main research question here is, what is the association between diet and CRC among Asians? So the paper summarizes that these are the food items or food groups that increases risk and decreases risk. So total meat, red meats, white meat, salted dried fish, white bread, spices like chilies and peppers, sugars, tapioca, alcohol, total fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, sodium, and also westernized and pro-inflammatory diet increases risk, according to the scoping review. While, as we have known, fruits and vegetables, flavonoids, fish, whole grain bread, total fiber, and dietary PUFA, folate, selenium, vitamin B2, C, and E, traditional, prudent, healthy diet and Mediterranean diet have been shown to decrease risk of CRC. So this is the second scoping review that looks at dietary related behavior and risk of CRC. So this scoping review, again from my team, have seen 25 articles, which includes 16 case control and 9 prospective studies. And it includes published papers between 2011 and 2021. And the main question here is, what is the diet-related behaviors that are prominent due to their effects on CRC risk in adults? So basically this paper found that cooking, food preparation methods, food groups and dietary patterns are contributing to increase and decrease risk of CRC. High temperature cooking like grilling, barbecuing and pan frying, especially for meat products, well done hamburgers, stewing and oven baking of white meat, coffee, poultry, beef, pork and supplements where iron of more than 18 milligrams per day, high fat and sugary foods and sugar sweetened beverages, especially fruit juices, increases the risk of CRC. While dry cooked meat, consuming 4 or more meals per day, this is dietary behavior, polyphenols, green tea, whole grains, fiber, fruits, again, milk and dairy products, dietary iron, vitamin D, calcium, and dietary N3 PUFA, omega-3 PUFA, decreases the risk of CRC. So what we can see from here is there's limited interventional and dietary pattern studies in Asia. So we need more data that's tailored to Asian context, because the dietary pattern here in Asia or in Malaysia is different with what we have in Western countries. The form of food, its preparation method, and also individual metabolic context modulates the risk. Example like whole fruits versus the fruit juice. And we have to move beyond general advice to consider culinary practice and health profiles. And we need actionable and context-sensitive guidance for dietary recommendation. So let's look at the Malaysian dietary landscape. So we have local data, so we have local risk. So this is one of the paper that we have published with Prof Hamid team. So and Prof Rajan is here. So this is a hospital-based case control study at HUKM and HUSM involving 79 cases and 185 controls. The dietary pattern method that we use here is FFQ, and then we did PCA to identify the dietary pattern. So what we found that we found 4 dietary patterns from the patients and controls, which is allergenic diet, which is high in condiments, eggs, fish and seafoods, but low in milk and dairy products. We also found dietary pattern named as plant-based diet, which is high in fruits and vegetables, bread spread, but low in sugar-sweetened beverages, and processed diet, which is high in confectionaries and fast foods, and energy-dense diet, which is high in alcoholic drinks and cereal products. So from here, we can see that the allergenic diet and the processed diet poses increased risk with higher consumption with CRC. But the processed diet, after controlling for marital status, education, BMI, and family history, the processed diet still have significant increased risk with CRC, while for allergenic diet, it's only significant when we control for age and total energy intake. So historical dietary pattern like traditional, rich in fresh foods and vegetables have progressively shifted towards more westernized diet in Malaysia. And unhealthy dietary transition is recognized contributor to rising obesity-related diseases prevalence and various comorbidities, including cancer. So we need to target reduction on processed food and fast food and promote adoption of healthier and traditional or plant-based eating habits. And this is another paper on dietary inflammatory index where we look at the synergistic trait of diet and obesity. So we found that the pro-inflammatory diet, which shown by high EDII scores, increases the risk of CRC among all subjects. And when we stratified the subjects according to the BMI profile, less than 25 and more than 25, so we see that among those with BMI of more than 25, we have a pronounced impact on the cancer risk. So obesity-mediated inflammation serves as a key connection between the consumption of food with high inflammatory potential and an elevated CRC risk. So the synergistic effect that we see that obesity is not merely an independent risk factor for disease, but appears to amplify the detrimental effects of pro-inflammatory diet. And intervention should also adopt dual approach, simultaneously promoting anti-inflammatory diet or healthy diet and addressing high obesity prevalence within the population. So how does diet influences colorectal carcinogenesis? So literature have shown that there are several mechanisms involved. The first one is insulin resistance and hyperinsulinemia, where the dietary triggers are high glycemic index diet, energy-dense diet, involving hyperinsulinemia and increased IGF-1, PI3K, AKT-mTOR pathway activation, which is an intracellular signaling pathway that regulates cell growth, proliferation, survival, and metabolism, and anti-apoptosis. So the dietary protective factors are anti-inflammatory diets, rich in fiber, and also weight management. The second mechanism is the carcinogen formation, which are triggered by red and processed meat, high temperature cooking, especially grilling, pan frying, and barbecuing. And the key molecular or cellular events that happens in carcinogen formation is formation of N-nitroso compounds, heterocyclic amines, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, and also DNA damage and oxidative stress. And how to protect this is by limiting red and processed meat, healthy cooking methods, example like boiling and steaming. And the third mechanism is chronic inflammation, which is triggered by processed food again, and sugars and unhealthy fats. And the key molecular or cellular events is cytokine production like interleukin 6, TNF-alpha, NF-kappa B activation, epithelial cell proliferation, and angiogenesis. And the dietary protective factors are omega-3 fatty acids, fiber, polyphenols, and antioxidant vitamins. And finally, we have gut microbiota dysbiosis, which is triggered by high fat and sugar diet, where short-chain fatty acids reduction, example like butyrate, pathogen overgrowth, and gut barrier dysfunction is the key molecular and cellular events that happens in this mechanism. So how to protect this by using dietary management is by increasing the prebiotics and probiotics intake, dietary fiber, and also anti-inflammatory foods. So we have a plan which is Malaysian Dietary Guidelines 2020 and National Strategic Plan for Cancer Control Program. So this MDG, as we have known, provides reliable and scientifically accurate nutrition information on healthy eating developed by scientists. And the NSP CCP 2021 to 2025 adopts a holistic approach encompassing primary prevention, screening until palliative care. So despite this well-articulated policies and initiatives by MOH and all the NGOs and so on, significant challenges persist in health effective cancer prevention in Malaysia, not only attributed by diet alone. We have a high rate of late presentation of disease, unhealthy diets, and inactive sedentary lifestyle that continue to increase the problem of NCDs. We have aging population and rapid urbanization. Implementation of strategic plans also faces hurdles such as insufficient funding, inadequate monitoring, issues with reimbursements, and challenges in effective governance. Patients also face problems like increasing financial toxicity due to rising out-of-pocket payments. So future efforts must therefore focus not only on what to recommend, but also on how to deliver and enforce these messages effectively by addressing the socio-economic disparities, also ensuring the robust monitoring process and adequate funding for prevention programs. So it's very important to have an interdisciplinary collaboration extending beyond the health sectors involving policy, economics, and community engagement. So the conclusion and path forward, the fight begins at the top. The fight against colorectal cancer demands a multi-level integrated approach. For individuals, this will translate into empowering personal dietary choices towards plant-rich, whole food patterns, and also adopting mindful cooking practices and maintaining a healthy weight. And this daily commitment changes for health from fork to fight is a powerful personal defense. With that, thank you very much.